The Honourable Member Maggie Barry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is with pleasure that I rise to talk at the third reading of the Insurance Prudential Supervision Amendment Bill. This is a piece of legislation which is another significant step in achieving clear, robust regulatory arrangements across our financial sector, and in keeping with much of the other fine legislation that this John Key-led government has passed, it is specialising in cutting red tape and also cutting compliance costs. Now, as we've heard, Labor supports this bill. At Select Committee, it went through very well. There were a couple of submissions. We had 4 submissions, and we heard from 2 submitters who recommended a change to the provision of interim financial information requirements. All very straightforward, really. I agree, in fact, and share Dr. David Parker's approval of the transition process, and that the Reserve Bank give oversight to all insurers, that they be licensed and supervised by the bank. And they also have to comply with prudential requirements, because the Reserve Bank will be both the regulator and the supervisor, and I think that will give great peace of mind, really, to people in New Zealand who are worried about their insurance issues. I would have to say that for the member who just resumed his seat, who generally takes sort of dull and smugness to a ridiculous extreme, he's now clearly buoyed up by his prospects, and contender number 2 is proving he is somebody who has a little bit of life in him yet. He talks about risks and consequences. That's something he knows quite a lot about, and I guess when it comes to seismic upheaval, which I suppose was a general weak theme of his discourse, then once again it's something he's fairly familiar with as someone who has experienced rather a lot of it in his own party, much of it, I feel, of his own making. He is, of course, irretrievably dull and not widely liked by his own caucus, but there's probably not enough time in this particular call to go into that in any detail. The Greens, of course, don't support the bill. Nothing new there. They don't really support anything that encourages growth, jobs, mining, any kind of improvement to the economy. They are, of course, consistent, and that is not a bad thing, really, because at least you know where you are with them, although I think their hopes of getting any kind of financial responsibilities under Labor, if ever they attain the Treasury benches, have diminished somewhat. One of the final things I would say in this call is that it empowers the Reserve Bank to publish and maintain on its website an official register of licensed insurers. That is going to have additional content in it, which for the first time will actually make it easy for people to shop around to find out who's good and who's not, in much the same way that the Labor Party is doing, but with very limited success. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I commend this bill to the House.
I call the Honourable Member Andrew Williams.
Thank you.